Coming from TechCrunch, Monday.com is the latest tech company to blame AI for layoffs. So I kind of think this is an interesting story. When we think about artificial intelligence and we think about the jobs market, and then we think about the larger societal impact all of this is going to have on our civilizations, I think Monday.com laying off 20% of their employees is kind of an interesting thing to take a look at because wait for it. They are, in fact, an Israeli company. So, we've been talking about Israel and their tech sector for a little while now because, wow, it's amusing. It is a very interesting thing to talk about, probably for all the wrong reasons as far as the Israelis are concerned, right? So we take a look at the Israeli tech sector. One of the big problems that's been currently going on is that the value of the US dollar has been sinking, and who the hell knows how, but the value of the Israeli shekel has actually been going up. So they have been in the middle of this war for the past couple of years. The entire Middle East is going boom, but somehow the value of the shekel is continuing to rise. And so we talked about this before with Wix. So Wix is also an Israeli technology company, and they had to do a lot of layoffs. And one of the reasons that they had to do layoffs is because basically they get their revenue in US dollars, right? So Israel, relatively small country, just kind of is what it is. So Wix is selling, they sell a lot to the United States. So many of their customers are paying them in US dollars. The issue is that they then have to turn around and pay their employees, their vendors, their landlords, all of that in shekels. So when the value of the US dollar sinks and the value of the shekel goes up, now all of a sudden it has become much more expensive to pay all of their suppliers and employees and such in shekels, and it's becoming a major problem. It is such a big problem, we talked about this before, that I do believe it was Nvidia and Google actually made a request to the Israeli government to pay their taxes in US dollars. And the reason is that they should have to pay their taxes in shekels, right? Because again, if you're going to pay taxes in a particular country, you should pay the taxes in the currency of that country. The problem is that their tax bills are so high that if they convert their dollars into shekels so that they can then pay their taxes in shekels, they have to buy so many shekels. That's going to massively increase the demand for shekels, which, wait for it, is going to increase the value of the shekel. Which, oh my God, it is such a disaster. And the thing is, you hear about this, and you're like, okay, Eli, we get it. Macro forces, right? Eli always talks about you can't fight the macro. So this is all kind of new and interesting stuff. But why is it that significant to Israel, right? With Israel, right? It's a country. If one sector is having problems for whatever weird ass reasons, what does it matter? And the reason is because weirdly enough, with Israel, is that it appears that 11% of their jobs are in technology companies, but something like 30% of the taxes paid to Israel are from tech, right? So 10% of the jobs come from tech. 30% of the tax base actually comes from the tech industry. And so, as the technology industry starts to have a lot of problems, that has an outsized impact on things like the tax base. And when you have an outsized impact on a tax base, when your country is in the middle of god awful wars that might not have an end for a long, 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 long time, you can start to see how the problem of the tech sector starts spiraling into being problems for the larger society. What I think is interesting, though, and I've talked about this before, is as the value of the shekel has gone up, is that when you deal with technology professionals, when you deal with founders, when you deal with geeks, we are like cats. And what I mean by that is we have no loyalty. Loyalty is not something you get out of either cats nor geeks, whether they're American geeks or whether they're Chinese geeks or whether they're Israeli geeks, right? We hold these truths to be self-evident. People kind of sort of be people regardless what their nationality is. And so one of the things, right, is the value of shekel has gone up and it's become more and more difficult for technology companies to do business in Israel. Then these same companies are looking to do things like outsourcing, right? So apparently, like previously for US engineers, it used to be that US engineers were like 10% more expensive than Israeli engineers. And now US engineers, because of the whole shekel thing, are now 10% less expensive than Israeli engineers. And what you're starting to see is Israeli technology companies starting to outsource their work over to places like the United States. And then if you think about it, if the United States is 10% cheaper than Israel, think about Romania and Estonia and other Eastern Bloc countries. Those places are dirt fucking cheap compared to Israel. And so they're starting to outsource. You know, the technology companies in Israel that the Israeli government really needs as a tax base. Yeah, surprise, surprise, surprise to nobody that's actually in this industry. They're outsourcing the work to other places. What does that do for a tax base? Again, for a country in the middle of a war. And what I think is interesting now with Monday.com is Monday.com, an Israeli company, is now focused on an AI first system for basically being able to get work accomplished, right? They have bought into artificial intelligence. They bought into the hype of AI. They are going to have an AI centric process for doing all of their stuff. Right. Well, what's interesting here is because they have that AI centric process, they're now going to eliminate 20% of their employees in order to push forward artificial intelligence within their systems, which means that's 20% fewer employees that are paying taxes to the Israeli government. So the Israeli government can do all of the things that allow Israel to, exist. Exist. So yeah, I don't know. It's a very interesting thing to look at what's going on with Israel right now, and think of it as the kind of like the canary in the coal mine, especially for the United States. I mean, really, really when you think about it, right? Israel is kind of a little United States in a way, right? Very strong military, very robust economy, but a lot of people forget that the military relies on the economy. And if you fuck around with the economy, you're gonna fuck around with the military. And if you fuck around with the military in an area of the world where a whole bunch of people do not want you to exist at all, um, could get, ugly, as they say. But anyways, so that's kind of curious here. Monday.com, the Tel Aviv-based work management software company known for its colorful, customizable project tracking boards, this week became the latest tech company to cite AI as a factor in the job cuts. So they are going back. This is AI. This is not simply efficiency or whatever else. On Wednesday, the company said in an SEC filing that it will lay off about 20% of its workforce, or just over 600 employees, as part of a restructuring plan tied to its quote ongoing transformation of its products, marketing, and go-to-market strategy in support of a quote leaner, more focused operating model as it continues investing in its AI-driven growth strategy. Co-founder told employees in a LinkedIn memo that the move quote was not made to reduce costs or replace people with AI, positioning it instead as adapting the organization to a new AI-first vision the company laid out roughly a year ago when it rebranded around a platform-wide AI push. Monday.com, which has two offices in the US, expects $45 million to $55 million in net restructuring charges, but still projects up to 20% year-over-year revenue growth for 2026. And so that's the other interesting thing with this, 20% year-over-year revenue growth and getting rid of 600 employees all at the exact same time. Basically, about how things are going in 2026 in the technology industry. So yeah, it'll be curious to see what continues to happen in the Israeli technology scene, and it'll be interesting to see what happens, with the follow-on effects because of all of that, right? As you start laying off people because you now have artificial intelligence enabled to in order to do the work. As the value of the shekel goes up, so you start outsourcing to other places. What happens when the technology industry becomes ever less viable in Israel, and what happens to the overall society when that occurs. And, are these countries, are these people in authority and leadership positions expecting loyalty from people that will simply never give it, right? I think that's one of the interesting things I've seen a lot in the technology world over about 30 years is what I've seen out of mayors and governors and so many people in positions of authority is there is this expectation of loyalty. You will support your community. You will give back. And when you find a lot of folks kind of raise their hand like, yeah, I'm not really sure when you say give back, I'm not really sure what I got in the first place. So maybe I am just gonna kind of take my stuff and go. I think about that like with the Baltimore tech scene. One of the big pushes for the Baltimore tech scene back in the day was this whole idea of if we could have exits, right? So exit was with startup companies is where you have the IPO or it gets acquired. The founders get a lot of money, and then the concept is once the founders and once those initial employees get a lot of money, that they will then invest back into the community. They will give back to the community, right? That's the idea. The problem they had in the Baltimore area is we would have these founders, they would get their exit, they would take all of their money, and then they would move. They would move. To be clear, it was not that they were not generous. It was not that they didn't support their community. They just took their money, moved to a different community, and supported the ever loving shit out of that. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, that whole loyalty thing didn't quite work out how we thought that thing was going to work out. And again, it'll be interesting to see like on this whole global scale, how things like loyalty and all that work out with the technology industry as we go through so many changes, and how communities are going to run into problems when they expect things like loyalty out of folks that simply are not going to give it. So yeah, we're going to keep following what's going on in Israel because it's it is fascinating in all the wrong ways. To be clear, in all the wrong ways, it is fascinating. But it'll be interesting to see how all this goes, right? We've heard this from Jensen Huang with NVIDIA, right? He is just in love with Israel. He loves Israel. He loves investing money into Israel. Well, here's the thing. When engineers in Israel are 10% less expensive than engineers in the United States, it's really easy to love those engineers. What happens when the engineers in Israel become 10% more expensive than the engineers in the United States? What happens when the AI bubble, finally does pop and everything goes to hell? I've talked about that before with Intel. Intel was going to do I think it was a $20 billion investment into Israel, right? It was all lined up. It was it was either the largest or one of the largest investments into Israel in history. Intel was all lined up for it. And here's the thing. Intel did not back out because of the genocide going on in Gaza, right? Intel did not back out because of the religious extremists that are terrorizing the folks in the West Bank. Intel didn't back out because any number of moral or ethical qualms. Intel backed out because it's Intel. My God, how do you fuck up that bad? They've just, oh Lordy, I don't even know what's been going on with Intel, right? And that's the whole thing, right? It was a $20 billion investment going into Israel, and the reason it got pulled had nothing to do with geopolitical horse crap going on in the Middle East, and had everything to do with Intel being a complete and utter fucking basket case of a company. And so what's going to be interesting as we go forward, right? It's really easy for NVIDIA to talk about all this investment going to Israel. It's very easy for a lot of companies to talk about that. But as the macroeconomic forces start causing more and more issues, will those decisions remain viable? And if they don't remain viable, what happens to Israel of the sucking sound of resources being yanked out of it during these times? During these times. So, anyways, what do you think about this? What do you think about Monday.com getting rid of 600 employees because of AI, right? They're going to be an AI first company. Ergo, they don't need those 600 employees anymore. Think about these technology companies. So many of these technology companies right now, they are. They're actually doing well. Revenue is up. For those that have profit, profit is up, and yet they're laying people off by the bucketful. What do you think that does for the morale of these companies? Because that's the big thing, right? You come to a company, you provide value for the company, right? The whole ROI. I believe in Eli, the computer guy, saying employees should bring an ROI to the company. You come to the company, you work really hard. The company is now making 20% more year over year revenue gain. And then 20% of the employees are being kicked out the door. It's not a lot. It's not 20% down. It's not even plateaued. Same revenue as last year. They're actually increasing. What does that do to the morale of so many of these employees at these technology companies? And what does that do for the morale of our industry? I've been poo-pooing the whole concept of passion for a decade now, right? All these snot-nosed little brats saying, what about passion? Like, oh man, I'm passionate about my mortgage, motherfuckers. I am passionate about my mortgage. I am passionate about my car payment. Oh my golly, I will take my health insurance bill out behind the barn and do some nasty things to it. I'm not passionate about my job. I'm not passionate about fucking TCP/IPv4 or whatever else. And I do wonder what's going to happen with our industry. Right? There's been so much passion, right? There's so much passion that people have shown while they have earned like redonkulous paychecks for doing very little. What happens to that passion when it's like, oh no, no, yeah, no, you're getting back to the industry that I knew for about 20 years before everything got really wonkadoodle. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Down below. If you like these episodes, do remember they're on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Link is down below. If you want to follow me on LinkedIn, there's a link down there too. With that, see y'all later.